to be here, not least because the new space is really awesome. You guys are super lucky. Looking forward to the invitation to the opening party.
Yeah, you will get it.
So I'll be talking about entrepreneurial mindset in the Nordics. My name is Joonas Kylliäinen. I'm 35 years old. I've been an entrepreneur now for 5 years. Before that, I did a long journey in the corporate world. So I've been on the both sides of the spectrum, so to say, and currently very much in love with entrepreneurship. So I'll be biased towards being all entrepreneurial, but I'll try to ask some tough questions so you can also make your own mind. I'm originally from Kouvola neighborhood, Kouvola region, so now we're westish from here, and currently living in the western side of Espoo in the Helsinki suburbs. How many of you already have a company of your own at this point? Good. So a very virgin group, so to say, when it comes to entrepreneurship. How many of you have been planning to start one or have a business idea? Cool. It's a perfect group. My own entrepreneurial journey started, it's now 5 years ago, when me and my wife, actually, who's behind the camera today, we started our own little boutique marketing agency. We started it as a side hustle, so we were both working in the IT sector for a Microsoft partner those days, and we started a small side hustle marketing agency. She was doing websites and I was doing the sales. Then a few years later, I started another company in the well-being online course spectrum. And so now I have 2 companies and entrepreneurial journeys, all I do anymore, and as a third thing, I try to preach about it as much as possible. But one thing that I really hear a lot these days when it comes to being an entrepreneur, I feel like it is now almost becoming a synonym for an app. So if you don't have a game idea or an app, are you really even an entrepreneur? Yeah, a game plan is cool, a mobile game is cool, an app is often needed, but for me, being entrepreneur is just so much more. It stands for so much more. And most of all, for me, it is a mindset, and especially it's a growth mindset. At the end of the day, for me personally, being an entrepreneur really doesn't matter if you work for a big corporation, if you work for LUT or Microsoft or Google, whoever you work with, it's all about the mindset. The mindset that when shit starts hitting the fan, you go, oh yeah, bring it on, I'm ready. Or when you don't really wake up like feeling that you're like, this purpose is bigger than me, this purpose is bigger than this shitty weather, I'm gonna get up today, I'm gonna get this done. Being an entrepreneur is mostly about you feeling like, okay, I'm starting to be really good at this. That means you're in the danger zone, and that means you really need to start learning more. That is being an entrepreneur for me, most of all. But yet, technically, it is also a way of transaction. So it is a way of not being in an employer-employee relationship with another person. So instead of someone giving you salary, usually for your hours, you actually are responsible for your own income, your own revenue system. And that is also a beautiful technicality of it, because I'll touch it shortly today. I heard you guys are getting some cool finance events coming up, but the way of being an entrepreneur really can boost your income at a very early stage already at your journey, instead of paying, especially here, very high salaries for being employed for someone else. We'll talk a bit more about that today because it's very, very valuable. And yeah, nothing wrong with them. What I've studied about entrepreneurs and being an entrepreneur, I've noticed there are three kinds of entrepreneurs in the world. There are lifestyle entrepreneurs, there are wave riders, and there are category designers. And really, for me, it all falls down for these three categories. Lifestyle entrepreneurs, they are your local pizzeria or local coffee shop or that surf shop in Portugal that you know the guy that just loves what he does, or the little family that they love what they do, no big dreams, not building an impactful business that's going to change the world, but they just really love what they do. And I love lifestyle business. I think lifestyle business can be a very, very valuable part of the community. They can actually create a lot of positive impact. They're often very geographically based, and that can be a very great way to really reap the benefits of being an entrepreneur, both economical and freedom-wise. The second thing, a very common one, was the wave rider. And wave riders are often opportunists. I just read an interesting article on Business Week that it used to be an average 10 years before a startup would make a successful exit. Now we're talking about 5 years. So that the time for a successful exit plan is just doubled down. So wave riders opportunities are those that see, okay, so now it's all about health tech, or now it's all about impactful businesses. I'm going to build one of those. I'm going to get the team together. I'm going to build a mobile app around it, and I'm going to exit in 5 years and make millions. Also, nothing wrong with that. You can make a lot of money, and then you can use that money for good things and living the life of your dreams. 5 years is a very short time. But the problem with wave riding is that everyone else is trying to do that as well. So that is usually, when there's a huge opportunity, you at the same time, you're not going to be the only one who just saw that opportunity. So there's going to be hundreds and thousands and tens and thousands of other people who also saw that opportunity are trying to ride the wave. And for me, the most interesting one is the category designers. And that's where I'm trying to end my own entrepreneurial journey with. Our little marketing boutique is now a pan-Nordic creative agency called Norders. So we serve Nordic countries with creative services and North Star communities, as we call them. And also my well-being business, I'm trying to create something that is so reachable for anyone that there's nothing like that being before. So being a category designer is something that you create something completely different that no one else has. And that's usually a much trickier of a journey because there's no customer base for it. There's no market for it. So you're trying to build something that probably most of the people are going to laugh at you when you tell about them. Think about Netflix when they first started that they're going to start streaming movies online. You know, internet is never going to be ready for that. And how many streaming platforms do you have for that now? So that's for me the most interesting part of being an entrepreneur. And that category designer really comes down to the mindset again. When everyone's laughing at you day after another and everyone's telling you your idea is shit, nothing's gonna mount of it, you're gonna die broken alone, and everyone's gonna laugh at you, then you go back to that mindset, say, bring it on, I'm ready for it. So that was my 30 seconds of entrepreneurial technicality. And what does it mean to be an entrepreneur? How does the workshop part now work? Since I did prepare for these questions, I forgot about them.
Yeah, I was actually just going to ask about from the audience, like when Joonas, you had these three aspects of entrepreneurs, like lifestyle, category entrepreneurs. Like, how do you think where you relate? What would be your like
lifestyle, web writer, or category designer?
Category design. What is the most interesting to you? For me, I'm on the same page. I think like the category is going to be what I want to do. I would like to have big impact to my community and build something completely new, but we will see how it goes. That's why I haven't started yet. But how about you? How do you feel in the audience? You can just speak on it. It's very not that formal. What do you relate to the most?
To me personally, it's quite similar to your perception in a sense, because on the one hand, I would like to see that to be like to relate more to the category designer thing, but I also see that an interest in the what you call the wave rider, because in a sense, as you said, it allows you to accumulate a lot of in a sense capital or resources, so that you can do more later on, and you can, with those resources you can employ them in a much more efficient way than, in a sense, to build them over time. And most likely you will have a greater chance of success because you will also have gained experience beforehand in those 5, 6, 7, 4 years or whatever they are. So it's the category designer is ideal, but the other one, the wave rider thing is in a sense more attractive.
And that's a great perspective in a lot of famous category designers. Salesforce, Mark Benioff, for example, he did a long corporate career at Oracle, being a director there, the unsexiest company on the earth. So he rode that wave, built a lot of resources and an amazing team with it, and then is now one of the most famous category designers ever lived. Yeah, that's very true.
I also think that like when you have to think which one of those is the most attractive, I also think that the market for being a category designer is pretty hard, and people might not get it. If you are going for example, funding, like VCs, they want to go for those models that already work, and where they can see the competition, they can see how it's going to be built.
So there's track record for it.
So that's also one of the things that I'm considering myself. But I also like the category builder or designer too. I think it's really inspiring. But there's a lot of different challenges when you try to do that compared to the other ways.
Most likely it's not going to be easy, no matter which track we choose. And if we can make that the fun part, then our chance of succeeding just got a lot better. I go forward?
Yeah, that's
cool. And please just interrupt me at any time, ask any questions. If you haven't had any. Can you see the text in the background? Cool. Hopefully it's also not that important. I'll try to speed them up. So why to become an entrepreneur in the first place? I don't think it's a matter of maximizing your chance of success anymore. I think it's a question of just being able to survive from now on. The days of 9 to 5 are over. It's a fact. I had a very, very secure corporate job in a big IT company in Helsinki with the best benefits, and someone from Switzerland on a monthly basis would fly in and just fire a bunch of people with a bunch of lawyers behind them. They found a loophole somewhere. Having a secure 9 to 5 job didn't exist. You can always be get rid of. That's a fact. So having your own, covering your own back, being the master of your future, owning yourself in the marketplace, I think it's the only way to not only succeed but to survive in the marketplace. We're now working very, very hard to teach 30,000. What's our last day in English?
At the primary school.
Primary school kids in Finland to start teaching entrepreneurial skills, because I think they're so crucial just to be able to survive in the future. And yeah, that being said, becoming an entrepreneur, testing out that journey is extremely important. The same goes with mindset. Once again, I think there are a bunch of companies in the world that I still would love to work with. There are amazing companies with amazing leaders all around the globe that I would love to work with, and I think they are great employers as well. But not having that growth mindset, not being able to take hard times, and when a pandemic hits and no one saw it coming and all the business gets shut down and everything turns upside down in 12 hours, how do you react? How do you manage yourself? Are you going to start complaining, go by the coffee machine and, oh, this day sucks, this company sucks, nothing happening here? Are you going to say, okay, bring it on, let's kick this. Let's see who stays on top of the mountain after this day. So just having that mindset, you'll be better fit for the future. And I'm a big believer that being an entrepreneur means that you are the most selfish person on the planet. The focus is always on you. You need to be taking care of yourself. And I've been there so many times that I've witnessed myself that I can't help people around me if I'm not in a shape to do so. If I have to worry this month how I'm gonna pay rent, I'm not gonna be worrying about those poor kids in somewhere else. If I have to worry about my health this month, I'm not gonna be thinking about other people's health. If I'm in shape, if I'm fit for the future, if I'm financially independent, then I start to have those mental capabilities to start thinking about other people. So entrepreneurial journey really allowed me to focus on myself, on my well-being, on my financial security. That has now allowed me to start thinking about other people and helping other people as well. And at the end of the day, also built for freedom. Anyone else have kids here yet? Well, one day if you do have, being an entrepreneur with my wife, so we own the company together, and now we have a daughter, 2 years old. She goes to the kindergarten nearby. We're shut down this week because of Corona. Having a classic 9-to-5 job, working for someone else would have been a hassle. Now organizing our own calendars, not the easiest task, a bit of stress here and there, but a lot easier to stay home with the kid and manage everything. Trips are more expensive in December. No worry, we'll do our Christmas trip in November because we decide. Very, very vague reasons for entrepreneurial life, but at the end of the day, very concrete ones, how you decide and how you manage your own calendar, your own future, and how you live your life. If you want to be that lifestyle entrepreneur that only works from 2 to 4 every day and takes long naps, it's a lot easier to manage and do rather than going to a workplace where there are a fit culture, a set culture, and given rules how to behave and how to work. So this is a nice one, the first two crucial ones I believe. And to become one, to become a successful one, I noticed that us having a very clear common vision for our family, for ourselves, helped us out a lot. But another thing I've noticed now is that a lot of young potential entrepreneurs get stuck because they saw a Simon Sinek TED talk that said it's all about knowing your why, and they don't know their why yet, so they stop going forward, or they don't know what their purpose yet. Why are we on this planet? So I can't start my entrepreneurial journey yet because I don't have that yet. Yes, I believe, and there's a lot of great studies on this, that if you have a very, very clear vision that you can articulate very, very well, it is a lot easier to succeed on your journey and become a leader that others want to follow. If your purpose is well articulated and it serves a greater purpose, it's a lot easier to take your entrepreneurial ventures forward. But what I believe in more than the purpose, or I believe more than the vision, and something I'll be now repeating a lot from now on, is having values and just staying active. We all have some sort of values. We might like pretty things, we might like aesthetics, we might like some sort of design, we might like some sort of furniture, or we might like sports, or we might like good food, or we might like staying relaxed, or we might like CO2 free travel. We do have some sort of values, and then we stay active within those boundaries, and the purpose will come, 100% promise. But if we watch TED Talks and try to think before going to bed what my purpose is, chances are slim. Stay active, know your values, we all have them, and then stay active, and the purpose and the why and the greater vision will come. And not the most popular opinion, but I think that should also be an evolution. The vision needs and can change. There's apparently not going to be a pandemic for the rest of our lives, right? So things are going to be hectic and things are going to be very, very dynamic. So we need to be able to also crucial with our own visions and missions at the same time. So that leads to these questions. Is there someone here who feels like you already have a very, very clear vision, purpose? I know what I'm here to do.
If not, then you could like start thinking about what kind of values you have, and we could actually use a couple like minutes if you want to, and you can share with the closest one to you. You can actually discuss about like what kind of values, or do you prefer thinking about it by yourself? How do you feel?
Or tell me.
Yeah, we can also have like this group discussion. It's also fun. But we can also like do it like, because I think as you have highlighted, it's very good to like start maybe from the value point, like thinking about what kind of values I have, and then to start build from that, like what kind of problems I would like to solve, and that could lead you to your mission or vision. Sort of thing.
There will be more tips in the next slides, how to get your values into action. But first, actually the hardest slide for me was why to be an entrepreneur in the Nordics. Everything rest that you hear today, that's my passion, that's my purpose a lot. This is very easy for me to talk about. I'm not nervous about talking entrepreneurial stuff and why to be one and why it's important. These I had to Google a lot, this slide. And this is what I found out. And so it's all good news, don't worry. So I actually we launched Norders, our creative agency in Denmark and Sweden this week. I just came back from Denmark. We're launching it in Norway next week, so we're now a truly pan-Nordic company. So I also just got some good first-hand feedback about this issue. The Nordics, and I think not least Finland, has a super supportive culture and a set of institutions for this. These sort of events and places are not that common. Apparently, I've not traveled everywhere, but this is we're very happy group to have something like this in our lives. To have this culture where you are now pushed to be an entrepreneur, you're pushed to have a growth mindset, you're pushed to start a new venture, and there are companies, institutions like universities all across the country. We have Business Finland, the best known accelerators in the Europe are located in Finland currently. So there is this really amazing structure in the Nordics to be an entrepreneur these days. So it's easy to get started. You almost get sucked in. It's a pull, not a push anymore. And the community and a potential team is also very much here. Now, thus far, I've only been talking about being a sort of solopreneur, but finding the right partners around you, that's where the real scale is. So not doing it all alone. Then you find the people, you find smarter people, you find harder working people, you find different people, you find diverse people, and that's where the magic really starts to happen. And when you have that entrepreneurial mindset community around you, you can really find the potential team easy compared to locations where the culture is not as, may I say, advanced in entrepreneurialism. And yeah, the community just, anywhere I think I go in Finland these days, even my hometown, that if you know Finnish culture at all, Kouvola is not very famous for very positive things, but I feel like even there the entrepreneurial spirit is rising heavily. So it's just an easy place to be for those ambitions. And this is something I actually just added this morning here that I found out when we went to a bunch of events and few investment events in Sweden on Tuesday. And it's too bad that Kyllä's CEO wasn't able to make it because he would have had a lot to say about this. But what I learned was that in Europe and in UK especially, because the competition between good startups is so heavy that the VCs, the investors, really look to invest on companies that are a lot at their further stages. So like what in startups in seed investments start at later stages there. But in the Nordics, where everything is smaller and happier, you start getting those early investments earlier on. So you can really only have a pretty basic rough idea, maybe a rough prototype, just a website and a very simple pitch deck, and it's a lot easier to get that funding here early on. Do you need funding? That's a completely a different topic, and also when it comes to freedom, and personally still working very hard not to take any funding, but yeah, that would be another 3-hour session on that topic. But if you feel like whatever you're building, also building a marketing agency, you need a phone. She's doing marketing agency work right there with her iPhone, and that's all you need. If you have a food tech business or health tech business, you probably need a lot more capital to get it off the ground, so funding makes a lot more sense. And the welfare safety net is something that the Spotify founder, CEO, Daniel Ek, keeps repeating over and over again, that it was for him, coming from a very middle class family, very easy to get sucked into being an entrepreneur, because he always knew no matter what happens, he's not going to end up on the streets. He's always going to have that safety net there. So that is also a big pro, start being an entrepreneur in the Nordics. I did put down as a question mark, I think bankruptcy still has an unfortunately negative stigma in Finland, in the Nordics. I'm doing time-wise. Okay. I think, I'm sure you guys have been hearing a lot about embracing failure, how important that is. I think that's something we're still sort of lacking. If you fail heavy, people, unless you're maybe at the tightest startup circles, that's still not a greatest sticker on your brand. Very, very unfortunately. Whereas in Australia, for example, for certain public jobs, if you don't have a bankruptcy on your belt, that's seen as a very, very negative thing. So learning from failure is still not embraced here as much as it maybe could be. And this was the easy for me to highlight here. Being a Nordic, it's just the easiest brand to ride the wave with. Trust, innovation, passion, transparency, the perfect mixture of capitalism and a welfare state. You mentioned that you're Nordic, people are like, okay, well, then I can trust you. So just whatever your business concept is, add word Nordic on it. We're freaking Norders. We're just like taking the easy way out with the brand. Yeah, that's why in the Nordics. And yeah,
we could use like a little bit like thinking about what is your Nordic strength, like why you would think it would be nice to start in that. Would it be the welfare system, or would it be something like completely else? I think for me it's actually the welfare system, because I've traveled a lot. Last week I was just in Kenya, and to see how people actually, they still become entrepreneurs there, and they have very strong entrepreneurial mindset there, but they have also a lot more risks involved. Like they really can end up in the street. They can end up starving if their business doesn't start up. And also like getting the funding that they need is actually not that easy that it is in Nordics. So it really made me appreciate the system that we have in Nordics, and that actually is pretty amazing, and it's very easy to be entrepreneur in the Nordics in that way, because the risks are not that like heavily, it doesn't impact so heavily on your health, your family, or funds. So that was like my key takeaway from that. But what do you think about what is your Nordic strength?
Maybe I can start. So I think so I'm coming from kind of like a third world country. I'm coming from Indonesia, so I've been, I already saw quite a lot of entrepreneurs there, stuff like that, and hearing a lot of stories. And in Indonesia, it's already kind of developing quite well, the entrepreneurs scene, but it's kind of like the high is so high and the low is so low, because we don't have welfare like safety net there. So if you're bankrupt, you just go to the street and stuff like that. And so yeah, I think that's like what makes me very interesting to probably start thinking about starting something in Nordic.
Yeah, one thing I actually also forgot was the government funding in Finland. Like we actually get a lot of funds from the government to set up the businesses. Actually, maybe even too much. I would prefer that there would be more angel investors involved. But now that Volt is also being sold, I think we will have plenty of like angel investors in Finland actually also. So I think also that is like one of the Nordic strengths, especially in my opinion though. How do you feel? Do you agree with me or are you disagreeing? Because we can also like have this kind of.
Well, to me, the fact of having an excessive amount of government funding is quite neutral in a sense, because on the one hand, yes, it's usually it's a common sense to I mean, it's well known that government allocations are of the budgets and finances are not that much efficient in a sense. So they usually tend to say, well, I have this from the governmental point of view. I have this objective, like to make 100 startups to create 100 startups, and so they will stop there. So they have a clear and short-termistic goal. So having instead of like a system with angel investors could be longer. They could have a longer term vision in a sense for investments.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the government has much more resources than any other angel investor, any other average angel investor. So that could be also another help in context where the entrepreneurial culture is not well widespread. For instance, in Italy, since I come from Italy, and coming here, I noticed a very big difference in terms of, as you mentioned, in the culture, in the supportive culture that is towards entrepreneurs, or also towards the figure, the profile of the entrepreneurs. While in Italy it is usually seen for historical reasons and cultural reasons, is seen as not something entirely good. Most likely a bad thing, because if you're an entrepreneur, most likely you want to make a profit and then go away, not paying taxes and so on and so forth, and things like that. So there is a very much a different perception, and this, in my opinion, is what makes the Nordics a great place to start a business in Europe, at least from a European point of view.
Cool.
Thank you. That's actually good insight.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. We work a lot with companies where we utilize the government funds here, and that's in my opinion, a huge problem. How short term they are. So you get like this dopamine fix for 6 months, and then like you run out of it. And whereas with angel investors, you really need it. Once again, from our subjective perspective, when we do your marketing plan, having like a 6-month marketing plan takes you nowhere. You need years and years of consistent brand work. That's a good point. Yeah, but that's definitely something for you to think about. What makes you Nordic, and you're just as Nordic if you come outside of Nordic. Jamie was very, very much right. It's a lot about storytelling. So build up your story and see where it goes in your own value model and start putting these pieces together. Yeah, then into action part. Research part is over. A lot of hands were raised when asked if you have a plan. Then take action now. The bad news is that your idea is not unique. There's kids who have more money, better teams. They're probably smarter than us, who are already working further on those plans. So take action now. Get started. Don't wait. Fail fast. Learn. Get some experience on your belt. We did our first 5 websites for our marketing agency for free. Julia hated every one of them. The single best decision of our lives. We got started, we started building traction, we started to get noticed, and then it started to take off. So get started now, start creating value. As long as you create value, you will get noticed and your idea will progress. Nothing good happens with plans only. Can't highlight it enough. I find myself again at this point getting frustrated. I've seen so many marketing plans, so many business strategies and business plans, and people really focus on putting their notion in perfect shape and everything needs to be in great balance, and we have this great system and idea and concept, and it's all procrastination, you know. You just avoid doing anything, so you just keep building these plans, and I'll just read another book on the topic, I'll just watch another TED talk on the topic, and maybe if I watch a bit more about this topic on YouTube, then I'll know more and I'll be ready. Your procrastination, very, very sorry. Not least note to myself. So you have your values. Then next thing is, what are you good at? What is in your business idea as something that you're good at? Is it bringing capital in, bringing that funding in? Is it motivating a team around you? Is it actually coding, building the first prototype of the thing? Is it whatever it is? Focus on that strength that you have and that passion that you have. Maybe it's that build quick exit plan in 5 years, and then you can really fulfill your dreams. Or maybe it is that local coffee shop that you've always wanted to bring because this town really needs the best coffee in the world. Whatever it is, bring that love and those strengths of yours together and create some value now. That's the way to go. In what field is your business plan in, your entrepreneurial plan?
I actually would love to work in energy tech. I'm actually really interested in the innovations that we are making, like energy storage and small modular nuclear technology. But as most of you know, probably, you know me, so I'm studying international business and entrepreneurship. So I'm a business student. So I lack the completely inter knowledge that we actually need. Well, you don't actually need, but you need someone in your team who has it. So I'm in the team building phase in that sense. I need to find these people who share this common, like the same vision, and we want to make this bigger. But that's my interest that I'm interested in. How about you?
Anything else in the energy tech?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
guys, that's so cool.
Yeah.
We need to link up.
Yeah, for instance, I know this company that is based both in Italy but mainly in Germany. It's called Enapter, and they produce green hydrogen out of electrolyzers. Actually, they produce electrolyzers that allow for the production of green hydrogen, and it's super cool. It's young, they are growing really, really fast, and well, now we are like. It's not relevant to the discussion, but still, they are I'm trying to get in contact with them, as I have very much indirect connection with them, so personal connection. So I'm trying to because I'm a business student also, and I feel the same issue. I really like technology and all of those things, but I'm an outsider in a sense.
Yeah.
And so I want to learn more from them that they actually do this stuff for R&D engineers and all of that.
And yeah, my advice: find a way to build that value. You seem to have that. The love is there, and your strength might be the understanding of these cultures, and you have a background there, and now you can bring something from the Nordics. And a very underutilized way to bring value is actually ask for help. That's when you really touch a person's ego, when someone asks me that, hey, you want to come and talk about entrepreneurial stuff? Oh, do I? And so that's also really like, I'm a business student in Nordics, I'm from Italy, or I don't know anything about the stuff that actually matters here, but I'm a business student, can you please help me? Can you please help me understand? And all of a sudden, doors start to open as well. So that's also something that can be utilized definitely well. And then being different is a great key as well to really get started fast. if you are like everyone else, it's a lot harder to earn that attention in the marketplace. So just find that unique thing, and you know the cliche that all of us are unique. So then you once again you find your own Nordic story and what makes you unique and what makes you different. Bring that into the action plan. And I don't know if you guys have been talking about being a specialist or a generalist. Is that something that has been thrown around? I feel like that's a huge trend now. So should I focus on a very specific thing and become the best in the world in that craft? Or should I understand a bit of here and there, understand about food tech and health tech and energy tech, and then I can really understand all about this? I'm not sure yet. I've been trying to study that and think about that topic also a lot. I don't think currently it matters as much. You can be a great generalist if you just be different as a generalist. So you can know a lot about different fields, about different topics, and then you're different with your experience. So I have a long background in IT, which gave me enormous competence in organizational management and team management and sales management. And now as a young, still starting entrepreneur, it's very easy for me to utilize that. And our marketing agency, our processes are so much more advanced and so much more efficient than if you look at a traditional creative agency that are just a very specialist creative agencies, for example. So build that your own story and yeah, just be different. You can be a specialist or a generalist. And as a 35-year-old, if I would give my 20-year-old an advice, that would be network and team up. I'm a very open people hater. I generally don't like people. I like reading books and being by myself, well, my family. And but now understanding the missed value that I could have gained from that my network is not the largest. My team is still building. Definitely learned a lot from that failure, but that's something that find people who are especially smarter and more experienced than you. One thing I learned as a young hockey player kid is that when I got to start playing with older kids, you know how fast you grow as a player then. So just find smarter, harder working people around you and it will elevate. And yeah, then it's just taking action, work hard and spend less than you make and life will be easy, I promise. It's a very simple formula for a successful life. That's all there is. And my maybe favorite business book in the world is about companies built to last by Jim Collins, and it's about why some companies, I think they studied 20,000 companies. The book Built to Last gets some bad rep because it's very America focused, and that's why I postponed it for a long time, but now it's my favorite book, but it is the best book. And it really puts well together the three elements a successful business, a successful entrepreneur, a successful leader needs to have. You need to be better and different at something than others. You need to have passion for it. And then it needs to have a financially smart system behind it. So it also needs to bring you money. But a great starting point are these two. If you start taking action now and building value around you, the third will come. So that's something for us to think about. Does someone want to yell out loud what you're really good at?
Or what you love to do. It can be like hobbies. I think there's like many businesses that have come out as like people starting as a hobby and then turning them into business as pros because they generally love to do it and it's just like feels.
And you also often have a lot of knowledge about the topic that.
And the networks.
Yeah.
Because you have done it and that's.
Yeah.
Why it often happens.
So are we supposed to answer this?
You can.
Can?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Please.
Ilza. I do come from Kosovo. I'm a master's student here in international business. I studied economics and statistics. That was my first major, and my second major was management back in Kosovo. It was an American university. It was good. The economics department was really good professors. But I just realized that it's not for me. It is something that I do not enjoy. It's something that I learned by heart and not by logic, which when drafting policies, there's no learning by heart. That's real life examples. So I started working since I was a freshman, and I always wanted to do something at the same time. I just couldn't study. I have to do both at the same time. And that's when I realized that I started working for this media organization. I'm now a project manager there. That's what I realized, that I actually like management. I really do. Until now, I keep repeating this. I've never worked in the business sector. The media organization that I work for is an NGO, one of the biggest NGOs in the region. And I don't know how is to work for profit maximization companies and corporates, and I don't know, but what I know is that I'm really good at management. I do consider myself a person who likes to network and to talk to people, and I believe that I'm a good communicator and a good listener. So that's what I'm good at. I'm good at writing. I'm good at speaking, maybe public speaking. Of course, that comes with experience as well. But yeah, that's what I consider myself to be good at. And what do I love to do? Honestly, meet people. Two opposites, but I like to meet people. I like to learn new things. I like to explore opportunities. So no matter what that is, I just consider myself to be a person that whatever it is that I enjoy, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna try to learn and make the best out of it.
That's good.
Yeah,
Keep doing that. Also, if you Google the necessary skills for the future, you just listed a good bunch of them.
I was saying that there was like preventer, came right out.
Yeah, solid social skills. Never gonna go all. Thanks for sharing. And then now it's been all happy. We're all taking action and creating value around us and getting rich on the side. But yeah, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna suck often. But I feel like that's just life, and that's how it goes. And there definitely will be obstacles on your way. And I think still the biggest obstacles is the first one and the last one. It's procrastination, fear of starting things, fear of taking action. People are gonna laugh at you, people are gonna make fun of you, you're gonna disappoint everyone, you're gonna fail, and you don't know what's gonna happen. Getting over that, not easy. Also probably could be a course. I'm sure there is a course about the topic, probably hundreds of courses about the topic. But I've also noticed just once you can trick yourself into starting, not stopping is a bit easier. It's just that first spark. So really try to go for there. One thing we all have the exact same amount are the hours in a day. So time is going to be a resource. I guess all of you are studying here as well, except my dad maybe, at least that I know of. So you have very limited time resources at your hand at all times. Same with financial resources. So finding the people around you is very, very crucial in that sense too. But meeting the wrong people again, that's where you hear really interesting stories, how you got cheated and how you learned never to trust again and how everything got effed up, and picking the wrong team, definitely a very, very quick way to run obstacles there. But my advice, just pick a team, trust your intuition. If I would have given this speech or workshop a year ago, I would have said that I just found out a broken model, that I just listened to my intuition. As we hired, we're now 15 people strong. So I started doing this thing that after 2 minutes of job interview, I just knew if this person is the right for us or not. I was really happy we just hired the greatest people. I hired the greatest people after 2-minute interviews. 3 months ago, catastrophe. cost us a lot of money. Never gonna trust my intuition again. But learned it the hard way, went for that route. There apparently needs to be more to a job application process than 2 minutes, and then I close my eyes. But yeah, you still do need to pick the people. You don't try to do it alone. That's just how it is. What do you know to fear most? So what? Because often the things that we fear, we're not always even aware of. It can be even something that we don't even remember, something that has happened in our childhoods and has created this mental trauma we're not even aware of. That's a very, very common way of fear, and we're not going that deep in today's session that we're going to unlock those, but what are you aware that you are afraid of is a good first question to ask. I think for me it was coming from a very, very masculine hockey team background. Whenever you make any sort of mistake or you look different in any ways, you were always told that you suck and you're terrible, and very, very those worst possible chauvinistic masculine jokes one can throw at you. So I learned to be very, very afraid of not looking bad among my peers. That was a very sort of easy way for me to manage my surroundings, and that took me a while to get to learn out of personally. That's something to think about, and once you can identify it, maybe looking in the eye and realizing that if those other hockey players dudes laugh at me because I try to start a business, maybe they're not really the friends I want to have in my life right now. Yeah, but problems are just problems. We all have them. Get help. When I wrote that, I tried to say like, get a team around you, not like go see a psychiatrist at the first stage. So find a mentor maybe, find someone. Once again, I love people who are smarter than we are because they have experience and knowledge that we don't, and they can tell it us in a heartbeat, and they say that, okay, so you're trying to build this sort of creative agency that's truly pan-Nordic, a first creative agency that's truly pan-Nordic. Well, I try to do the same. These are the 5 things that I did a failure with, instead of me just blindly trying to figure out a way to do it. So build that team, find a mentor. Is there a mentorship program here that you
Yeah, actually we have this forward accelerator that we run during the spring, and during that time you will have a business idea, then you sign up, and we will sign you to a mentor. So
Yeah,
then you will
right,
get a
that's
mentor
great.
that works with your like the company that you're building, and you can actually like have this kind of brainstorming with them, and
Yeah.
and we are going to build it a bit more, because I think the role of mentors is actually very huge when you are starting a business. Like having
Yeah.
good mentors,
Oh yeah.
having this kind of good brainstorming sessions so that you can actually turn to. There's like more experience in the business is really beneficial.
Yeah.
So we are probably going to add that. We have this forward program.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, I couldn't, and once again that I feel like something I missed out on, and now I see people who really reap the benefits of it. And back to focusing on us. You're the main asset. Take care of yourself. Sounds really boring maybe, but sleep well, eat well. And it took me a surprisingly long time to understand that if I drink a lot of beer and smoke a lot of weed, it's not going to be good for my mental health. So really try to take care of yourself. I couldn't highlight that enough. If you're not in shape, you can't help people around you. That there's just no way around it. Learn, stay curious, read, attend these things, ask questions. Yeah, that's definitely the way to go, and we can overcome anything. And mentor programs are great, but I'm sure most of us, all of us, we have people in our lives who are older, more experienced than us. Just pick a 3, go buy lunch for them and ask, in what did you fail? Why did you start your business? Why you didn't start your business? Why did your business fail? Why did your business succeed? it starts. The closer they are to your life and culture and situation, the better. Jim Collins, the author of Built to Last, that's great, but it's a very far away from my everyday life. So like reading his lessons and advices, and when it comes to the emails that I actually do get, the files I need to put down, a very different thing. So getting to the end of it, thank you. I like to talk, it's been a long workshop. So take massive action now, create value around you, help someone, ask what they need and do it. It's really that simple. Go public with your idea. If it's only in your Notion or Apple Notes, it's very easy to push it forward. If you promise everyone here that I'm gonna launch my energy tech business by the end of the year, I'm gonna have a founding team by the end of the year, you have a better chance of succeeding because there's a bit of peer pressure there. And yeah, keep repeating myself, but it's important, team up, network, attend these things, attend other ones, and yeah, what's the easiest way? Your business plan might be huge. The first ones that I've heard today is that we're impacting the entire world and changing everyone's lives better, so it's going to be a long term, it's going to take a lot of time, but what can we do today? What actions can we take today to make it forward? Can we start a Facebook group or whatever it is? Just get started.
I would actually start from my point, which is just share with you that, like for me, it was just like I could help to lobby in Finland, the regulation to change, that we could actually have these innovations to get in use, and that was my way of like getting started in my journey to entrepreneurship.
Cool.
I will let you continue.
Yeah. Anyone else? What's the plan we can take today? Take action.
That's good. It's good to think about it.
Make a plan for launching the plan. And yeah, just some principles. Now we're getting to the very end. Only 17 more slides. Some simple principles that I personally live by and I've noticed to bring a lot of happiness to my life. I'm definitely happier than I am yesterday. I'm definitely happier than I am ever before. We're not financially independent by any means, but we're more financially secure than ever before. We have a healthy, lovely family and a thriving business, and I couldn't be happier. And here are my short list of that made it possible for us. There are so many amazing things that come at you every day, like all the time, right? Like ads and shows, and people ask you for millions of things, and attend this workshop and attend that workshop, go study there, do that. There's this little society here, and buy this and do that, and if you're not studying that, then yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So really try to define what that value, if you don't know your highest purpose and highest vision and highest mission yet, what is that thing that you value? Is it the family? Is it your business idea? Is it your health? Is it a non-profit idea somewhere? Just define that and stick to it. Say as much as you can say no. We should all get a reward every time we say no, because there's so many things that we get asked for. So really protect that thing that you choose and go all in. If it fails, but at least you gave it your all. I'm 100% positive, I can promise that in 5 years, none of us are gonna regret things that we tried, we're gonna regret things we didn't try. So define what you want, say no to everything else, focus on that, demand the possibility to focus on that, and protect your calendar at all costs. Two things weirdly seem to be less and less valuable these days. Okay, I'll send it to you over tomorrow. Okay, yeah, we'll get together next week. Okay, let's do that. Okay, I'll do that, and nothing happens. So fucking weird, sorry. And just whatever you say, keep your promises, just stick to it. Promise less than possible, because every time you over deliver, anyone who's had a positive customer experience anywhere, you know that just, I promise to give you 59 slides, but I can do it in 49, and everyone's pretty happy, right? every time you can over-deliver, people are gonna start talking about you. Yeah, he promised this one thing, but he actually gave me those 2 amazing things. And you knew you were gonna give those 2 amazing things the whole time, but you just promised that one thing. That was an easy promise to make. That also gave you some slack, because then all of a sudden, like your calendar got messed up or a new pandemic hit, you could still just deliver that one thing that you. You could just deliver that one thing that you promised. And just be kind. Let's not be assholes, right? That should be pretty simple. And yeah, I like the attitude here. Let's fight the big fights. We're so privileged, every one of us in this room, and really shitty things happen during this workshop. So let's put the action into place and make the world a better place. I thought this slide, as I told you, this slide, like for some reason I don't feel like talking, then we'll just focus on this. But here's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 books that I recently read and really like. As I said, I hate people, so I stick to these guys. But if you like books, here's a good list. The Surrender Experiment, I point out, it's about a billionaire tech guy who just like at this one point gave an idea that he gives up to his intuition and just says yes to everything, and just like the wildest story you will ever read. Play Bigger, about category design, the leading book about category design. So if you're interested about that, very good book on category design. That's it. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I hope if one person takes action today, I've achieved my dream.
Thank you. And now they pitch us, so let's eat.
Let's see.
Yes, that's.
Oh, and Q&A, we're going to be here for a while, so if anyone has any questions, I'm available. We'll leave when the pizza's done.